Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? Thanks for tuning in. This is the second part of the Audi A3 front end that we repaired and painted. So if you haven't seen the first part and you want to see the preparation and the repair on this wing, go and check out the first part. So yeah, we got it up to the primer stage in part one. So part two, show you a bit of the preparation on the primer. So I used a really dark grey primer on this. That is dark grey, but then when you sand it, it looks quite light when it's sanded. But I think, yeah, that was black. That was. I may have put a little bit of white into it. I can't honestly remember now, but I do normally put a little bit of white in there. It seems to rub a bit better than just being the black for some reason. Be a little bit gummy just being the black, but anyway. So yeah, normal procedure. I always do everything dry, dry sanding. Most of the primers are designed just for dry sanding now. They don't like being wet flattened, I don't think. So yeah, blocking it all out with 320, and just spending a fair bit of time on that feature line. That was a tricky little feature line to do. Most of the fill I put into it, to be honest with you, I took out. Yeah, sort of where it's got two feature lines and it curves around that. In between those two feature lines, it was sort of a bit of an angle, and it was really difficult to get it round and sharp and angled all at the same time. But I managed to sort of fill either side of it. I managed to keep the line pretty much still in metal, so still original. But yeah, was a bit tedious. You could spend more time on something like that than you can like prepping a whole panel, you know. But so yeah, the normal procedure on the dark colours, I finish off in 500, so 320 on the block with 3M Cubitron strips. Then I use a combination of the strips if I need something a bit harder to do it freehand by hand to get in edges, and then 320 grit soft pads as well for getting in curves and edges and places that I can't get in with the block.
It's going to get months work in a day or something like that. Oh no, it's like thick rain.
Now I'll go around all the edges with 500 grit. After 320, I'll go around all the edges with 500 grit. All the places I don't think the dual action sander is going to get in. Do all my edges, all the little nooks and crannies, 500 grit, and then I'll go over it with 500 grit on the DA, and then with you know, higher content metallic colours, I do go over it again with 600 grit. Just sometimes I've seen in silvers, I can just see some sort of light scratching in certain lights in the base coat. So I don't know if it's my base coat that I'm on, the Mipa water, whether it's a little bit susceptible for showing prepping marks. I'm not sure, but just going over with 600 grit afterwards seems to eliminate it. But the darker colours, you can't see it. And to be honest with you, it's probably only me that sees it, because I've pointed it out to Reese and he can't really see the scratches that I'm talking about. So, but I do go over it with 600 grit. So that's it all being guide coated again now, and then 500 grit with a dual action sander. And obviously being dark colour and being black off, you know, that's quite a bit quite tight there for blending for the bonnet and for the wing. But being black, it's enough room. If that was a lighter a lighter colour or silvery colour, high metallic colour, I probably would have to go into that door, you know. So the DA pads I use, they're made by 3M, and they're like they're the mid-range ones. They're what they call blue box, so they're blue colour. They're sort of in between. I think the yellow ones are they're cheap end DA discs, and the purple Cubitrons are the most expensive. So they sit in the middle. They're still quite expensive, but they are really good. And the scratch is really good off of them, and they do last. They last quite a while, so yeah, I find they're good value for money. I find with a lot of abrasives, you scrimp on them. You're using double the amount, so I can't see the point in buying cheap abrasives when you're chucking them in the bin all the time. But that's just my opinion, and everyone's got their own opinion, their own budgets. So that's the prepping coming to an end. It's all finished in 500 grit, and we'll move on to the paint stage.
Right then, YouTubes, that's the Audi A3 all prepped and masked, ready to spray in the booth. So I'll give you a quick look. So it's all masked up. So we're going to be doing a little bit of blending here, blending on the wing. Same on this side, and the bumper to do. So I've got a couple of little breakthroughs here and there that have gone to metal, so I'm just going to mix up a little bit of wet on wet and just do a couple of, just blow them little breakthroughs in with a little bit of black wet on wet, Mipa 4+1. Just do it in my little mini jet gun, just to blow them little bits in. And then yeah, be the usual 2.5 coats of base coat, Mipa Waterbase. And on this job, I've got a new clear coat to use that I haven't used. So I'll give you a quick look. It's Mipa CC14 THIX, it's called. So that's it there. I've got a litre of it to try. So thanks to Market Paint Services for supplying it. So yeah, just want to say a massive thanks to Mark and to Mipa for not sponsoring this video. I had to buy it, and big up their products all the time, but don't get nothing off of it. So do I sound bitter? No, I'm not bitter, I'm only messing about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using this this clear coat. So this is their top, pretty much their top of the line clear coat. Fixed Tropic. The properties of Fixed Tropic, it's supposed to have really good stability and can be applied in thick layers and will hold. So basically it's really resistant to running and really resistant to like solvent boil and stuff like that. If applied, you know, on bonnets and roofs where you're going to lay down a bigger build of clear coat, it's supposed to be really resistant to like running off of edges, runs and solvent boiling. So, but to be fair, the Mipa, all the other Mipa clears, well, the ones I've used, CX4, CX2, CC9, they're really good for that. They're pretty stable, I find, because I'm quite a heavy painter, so I'm used to getting runs, and they're really good at resisting solvent boil on edges and stuff like that. I've used some clears in the past. You get a good job. You may have a bit of a build on an edge, like on a wing edge, or you know, when you do a wing and a door, you can get a build between them two edges of them two panels, and you bake it. The panels look fine, but you get blistering solvent boil down the build up on the edges, which it ruins the job. It looks all frosty, especially on like a dark coloured car like black. You get this micro solvent boil all down the thicker edge, where you've had a bit of build up, and I don't flat polish out. If you try to flatten polish it, all your polish and everything sits into the little tiny micro blisters, so it can ruin a job, stuff like that. So yeah, like I say, Mipa clears are pretty good at that anyways, but this one's sort of specifically for that. It's supposed to have really good flow, really good gloss. Like I say, it's their pretty much their top end clear. So yeah, we'll give it a go on this job, see what it's like. So yeah, I'll be putting it on with, I'm going to put it on with my O setup because it's a bit of a faster, get a bit more build on the O setup compared to the CC. So it'd be, the clear coat will go on with my 1.2 5500X X5500 1.2 O setup RP, and the base coat will go on with my usual 5500 with a 1.2i. So yeah, that's it. We're I'll get all colour mixed, get it water degrease, solvent degrease, get that little bit of wet on there, and then we'll start painting it.
Right, so just going to feather in some little breakthroughs, just with some black wet on wet. So Mipa 4+1, their express wet on wet mixing ratio, dries really quick. If there's a few breakthroughs on a job, I know I could probably wet on wet the whole job, but I want to keep the colour away and overspray out my blend area, and yeah, to do the bonnet and the primed areas of the wings. I run the risk of overspray being in my blend area because it all is a bit, it's quite tight. So yeah, I could just feather it in with a little mini jet, with a little breakthroughs. There was a few on this, so just a lot of curves and a lot of sharp lines on these Audis. They do like their feature lines at Audi. Audi body panels do have some sharp feature lines, to be fair. And yeah, we just spent our time making sure that the primer was all sanded through and blocked through. And yeah, you always run the risk of breakthroughs. There was too many on this, really. So I would sometimes just use some aerosol epoxy. Use that as sort of like a wet on wet and just scotch it. I use that on the breakthroughs, and then when it's dry I just scotch it, just to make sure it's got a bit of key to it. But yeah, I just mixed up a little bit of black wet on wet for this one and just fluffed it in. So first coat, Mipa Waterbase, as per usual. There's a little breakthrough there that I missed. Done all them breakthroughs, and I knew I'd miss one. So just tickling a little bit of base coat on that beforehand, so I don't get no separation off of it or anything like that. So yeah, Mipa Waterbase is as usual. The first coat is sort of like a half coat, not a full coat. The Mipa Water's one of the best coverage wise water-based coats I've used anyway, that I've had here as systems and used at other places I used to work. You know, that's not a full coat, bit more than a half coat I'd say, but it's virtually covered in that. And I know black covers really well in every system. But it does cover really well, this base coat. Is one thing I really like about it, that and the way it dries out, so it does dry out really smooth. once you get used to the way it lays down when it's wet, which is textured, it always looks really textured and patchy when it's wet. Once you get around your head around that and you ignore that and you know that's how it's supposed to look, then you won't have any issues with it laying down and coverage. Trying to get in all them edges. They're a bit awkward to paint, these Audi bumpers. You take the grills out of them and it's like they're only joined by that little skinny bit in the middle. They lose all their rigidity when you take the grill out, which is yeah, it can be a bit of a pain to prep. Reese moans about them, prepping them when you get the grills out of them, because yeah, they just go all floppy on you, and they can be a bit hard to spray as well. You know, hang on the stand, but you see I sort of brace that across a little bit to keep it in a position, because yeah, especially with the heat in the booth, you can have the bumper go all misshaped on you through that middle. I did make a bit of a brace for so I could screw it in some grill screw holes, but we had a look for it and I can't find it. I had like a metal bar that I drilled some holes in and to brace it out, but we couldn't find it. Probably cut it up and used it for something else. But anyway, so yeah, dry that first half a coat out, just normal booth temperature, about 23 that is, with the A&I blower on the medium heat setting, just so I haven't got to mess about with booth temperatures. I could just go straight in with that, without leaving the booth, and then I can go on to my double coat then. So yeah, they recommend you do single coats, so a half coat and a couple of single coats, and do all your blending out in those coats, or sort of like a double coat. So that's the double coat there. Start at the bottom on a panel, get to where you're going to finish on that panel, and then work your way back down, or vice versa. Start at the top, go down, come back up. Get all your blending done while it's still wet, and then yeah, Mipa sort of don't recommend to put it on like this. The data sheet says that this is how you should apply it, but yeah, they do have some issues with dieback and it not drying out properly. But I've said before, I had some of those issues as well, but I sort of know I've got to grips with how I put it on and how I dry it now. So you know, that double coat, it's not like a super wet heavy coat. I'm not getting all the coverage straight away, so it is sort of layered, and they're not massively wet coats, the way that double coat is. But yeah, sort of every part that I'm spraying, you know, half that bonnet, get all that coverage in that one that one, you know, application, and then move on to the next part of the panel, and the same again, get that double coat, get all that coverage that I need in that one application, instead of sort of going, you know, you could do that whole bonnet and then come back on yourself as that whole bonnet. But whatever area I'm spraying, whatever section I'm spraying on, no matter what it is, wing, bumper, whatever, so whatever section I'm on, I'll get that double coat on that section, and then move on to my next section and do the same, double coat it, and then get to my blend areas and get all the blending and the flicking out. done. As you see, I've just come to the end of that bonnet, and then I'll go back into where I started, and that's one, you know, that's the section I'm on at the moment. And then yeah, just get around the edges, and that's it, all covered, and plenty of base coat on there, to be fair. It looked covered on that half coat, to be fair, but yeah. And that's basically it. I think it's quite simple, this system. It's a bit like, it's not like the one application systems, you know, the glazurates and that are out there, and everything being done in one application, one visit. So it's a little bit, I don't find the application of this base coat very stressful. You're not under the cosh time wise for keeping stuff wet or getting it on there in a certain amount of time, especially, you know, especially you've got to, you know, do various bits around the vehicle and parts. Yeah, I don't know, I can't say I'm not too familiar with those type of base coats, but it doesn't matter if this dries out on you. So yeah, I find it quite relaxing to apply this base coat. It's not stressful applying it. I find it really simple, to be honest with you. Simple and straightforward. It works really well, and yeah, the application method, like I say, you've got a bit of variety. You can choose it how you want it. Like, they always recommend the half coat as the first coat, just for contamination reasons, I think, for picking up contamination, and then yeah, you can just do it as a single coat and then dry that and do another single coat, or do it how I've done it, where you sort of double head the coat, so double up on the coat. The choice is yours, really, which is good. It's good because it depends on how you want to spray it, and the environment you're in as well. How you've got. It's good that you've got a choice of application methods, and yeah, it works. It's sort of a little bit like solvent base coat in a way, the way you can put it on. So it wouldn't be disfamiliar, especially if someone hasn't really used Waterbase before and they're going to go on to Waterbase. This isn't, you would find this system very familiar to solvent base coat application wise. And then yeah, the key is just to get that dried out. So that's all my coverage I need, all my blending, everything I need base coat wise is on there, apart from the effect coat and the drop coat. So yeah, then I'll just go out the booth, get it on bake, 45 degrees, let the heat get in there, and then just dry it all out. Doesn't take long. That job in there, about 10 minutes of me dry it in there with a blower, drying it, and then get it cooled down and get the drop coat on there. So now onto the drop coat. Drop coat has to be half the pressure, so at 1 bar, increase your distance, probably nearly double your distance, and just let it, literally clues in the name, innit, drop coat, let it drop on there. The droplets can look a little bit big when it's wet, but they dry out really smooth. Obviously this colour's only got a slight bit of pearl in it, so it doesn't probably get away with not even doing a drop coat, to be honest with you, but I always do, just for peace of mind. But some of the metallics may require another drop coat, so I find, you know, put a drop coat on there, flick it over everything. If you think it looks a little bit patchy, or you're not quite happy with the effect, then just let that dry out naturally, and you can give it another one, and you can lighten the shade a little bit with 2 drop coats. But again, it always doesn't look right when it's wet, but when it dries out really smooth and nice. And I always put a little bit in your blend area as well, especially on the higher metallics. Drop coat into your blend area as well, and that always aids with the transition between your base coat and, you know, your original colour. And then just a little bit over the bumper as well. So yeah, we'll be moving on to the clear coat next. So this is the first job I've done with Mipa CC14 THIX Tropic, and I was a bit unsure with it when I first mixed it up. I was a bit dubious of it, as you'll see in a minute when I poured it out. I even tried to ring the rep because I never knew it looked like this, but it was a bit it was a bit of a surprise. So yeah, as you can see there, it looks like matte clear. It's really cloudy and milky. There's no clearness to it at all. I thought, oh, maybe that might go when I mix hardener with it. I had to check the tin. Thought maybe it was out of date, but yeah, as you can see, it's not clear at all. Really milky and frosty looking. So that threw me. I lost a bit of confidence. I couldn't get hold of the rep, but I thought it must be like it. I googled it as well. I did find a little bit of information on it. So yeah, well, I'm going with it, and I've got to admit, it's the best Mipa clear I've used so far. Absolutely loved it. I reined it in a little bit on this job because obviously first time using it, it's quite a big job to do. So you know, it's the first time using it, and I wanted the job to come out really nice. And yeah, I wasn't disappointed. It applies really easily. And yeah, the whole reason behind the THIX Tropic, like I've said in this in the intro of the last video, is to do with giving you, it's got extra stability on the panel, so really resistant to moving and running. You can apply it in higher builds and thicker layers, and really resistant to solvent boil, especially on edges and stuff like that. You know, when you get a build up on edges, if you want to put a good film build on a job, one of the downsides is you're going to get a bit of a fat build up on edges. Is, you know, factory paint has build up on edges, so this is resistant to that, and can be applied in high layers. So I've done 4% thinner on this one. I've used it a few more times since this job, and I've been messing about with the thinners between 3% and 5%. I've done 4% on this job. It seems to be the sweet spot, but now the colder months are coming in. So yeah, I thought I'd put it on the bumper first. If there was anything to go wrong, or I wasn't happy with it, or there was any issues with that clear, then it's a bit easier to redo a bumper than it is to do the front end. So I was going to start on the front end, but I thought, no, first coat, first time using it, I'll stick it on the bumper first, just as a trial to see how it applies and how I get on with it. But yeah, wound the fluid in a little bit. I'm using the 1.20 setup on my RP 5500 X 5500. So the 1.20 is quite a heavy gun, quite a speedy gun. And yeah, data sheet wise, I always read data sheets on everything. I love a good data sheet. I must admit, sometimes I read data sheets from other paint manufacturers that have got paints that I don't even use, and I'll Google data sheets and look at them. I know that sounds really sad, but I like to read, especially on base coats. I like to read data sheets just to see the application methods. I know that's pretty sad, I know it is, but yeah, I have been known to read the odd data sheet here and there in my spare time, but there we go.
But yeah, I do like to know what they say, and then you can go from there really. And they said on this one it's 2 coats, but they say the first coat is like a reduced closed coat, so not a full wet coat, and then 1 full wet coat. They recommend on the data sheet for this, but I spoke to the rep. He said they've tried to push it to the limit. They've put 4 coats in a blend area because of the milkiness. You can see the milkiness in the pot there. I spoke to the rep and I said about the milkiness and it affecting the colour, and he said they've tried it and pushed it to the limit. They've done four coats in a blend area, and it didn't affect the colour, which is a really good thing to hear, because you're never going to have 4 coats on a blend panel. And he said, yeah, we pushed it to the limit to see when we could get it to run, and he said it was heavy as anything. They put it on there heavy as anything before they could get it to run. So yeah, the only downside to that is it could give you a bit of a false sense of security when you're applying it. You think, oh, this ain't gonna run, I can just lap it on there, no problem. But yeah, that almost caught me out the other day with using it. I just had it in my head, oh, it won't run on me, I can put more on, but I did get it close, I think. But yeah, it come out really well on this job, and the jobs I've done it with since, you know, the jobs I've used it on since, I'm loving it more and more. I'd love to use it on every job, but some jobs just don't warrant the cost of it, because it's pretty much their most expensive clear that they've got out. But it is a bit different to apply when it goes on. Obviously the milkiness is different, not like other clear coats, and it's hard to explain, but yeah, when you see it go on, sometimes it does look like it's going to build up on edges, but it seems to disappear. The build up seems to disappear. It's strange, and it does flow quite a bit afterwards. There's quite a bit of afterflow with this clear, and the flat and polishing is lovely. It polishes lovely, and the gloss level is, honestly, I'm not just saying it, the gloss level's the best out of the Mipa clears I've used so far. I'm on CC9, I'm on CX2 and CX4, you know, the fast dry ones, and I've used CC12, which is their sort of top of the line clear, which is the one above CC9, and the gloss is fantastic on the CC12, which they call their show clear, their premium clear, but the gloss is definitely better on this, without a doubt. The gloss is phenomenal on this CC14, so it's going to be my new top of the line clear. I'm going to be on that. I'm going to be using this instead of the CC9, to be honest with you. But I really enjoy everything I've done with it so far. I really enjoy spraying with it, and yeah, that's the first coat on there. I just sort of found it had a little bit of blowback. You know, where you sort of, if you go over a bit, being a bit cautious, you go over a little bit that you've already cleared, and it sort of pushes like tiny little micro wax holes into it. But normally that would flow out, but I did find initially they didn't look like they was going, but they did go in the end. So yeah, I did notice a bit of blowback off of it, which, you know, it's pretty normal. But yeah, normally that would you know, that should flow out when you get a bit of blowback. So just making a couple more adjustments on the gun, blowing the fluid out a little bit more. I had it wound in a little bit more than I would normally on the first coat as a precaution. Wound it out a little bit more. I mean, that feature line on that wing's susceptible for getting a run in, but yeah, great clear. Really pleased with it, really impressed with it, and yeah, come out really well on this job. And yeah, put a nice wet coat on there, and no runs off the feature lines. Like I say, that could be a bit prone, that wheel arch feature line for running, but yeah, didn't have any issues with it. So I'm going to sign out at this bit, let you watch the rest of the clear coat going on, and if you stick around, you'll see the end results. Thanks for sticking around, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. the number plate cover quick. Right then, YouTubes, that's the Audi A3 all finished and polished. I've fitted it up. Literally just got it out. I thought I'd quickly do the outro, and yeah, it started raining again, so I'll give you a quick look at it anyway. And yeah, I'm really happy with that new clear coat. It's come out really nice. I'm really pleased with it. So yeah, done that with CC14 the THIX Tropic. And yeah, I think part of what that is, THIX Tropic, it's got real good stability, so you can get sort of factory finishes. Sometimes when you over apply high solid clear coats or ones with thinners in, you can get what I call, like, it sort of gives it like a diamond effect, where it's not running but it sort of shrivels into itself. And yeah, so you can find that on blend areas sometimes. Well, I do, because I'm an heavy painter. But yeah, that sort of diamond effect where the stability of it is sort of moving a little bit, but it's not actual runs or anything. And obviously build up on edges, giving you fat edges, you know, can be an issue on panels. So that's the purpose of this clear coat. It's their top of the line clear coat. It's real good gloss. It can be applied in heavy layers, thick layers, and it won't move, and the orange peel stays where it is. And yeah, it's a bit different. It was cloudy in the pot, which throws you a little bit. So I don't know about on blend areas, if you put too much on, whether it affects the colour. It may do, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm rushing this because it was starting to get wet. But yeah, it polished lovely, really nice, and it stayed exactly where it should do, you know. It didn't move, didn't get any dye back or anything, and it applied really nice as well. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the results. Sort of really, you know, first go with it, I'll push it a little bit more now, I think. But yeah, apart from the rain, I'm sorry about the rain on it, but yeah, it come out nice, and all that wing repaired nice. I'm pleased with that. Front bumper all come out nice, and yeah, colour went in well. I know you can't really see a lot with the rain on it, but what can I do? That's all I can do. Sorry. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Matthew, the guy that owns this car. He's a subscriber, he's a friend of mine, and him and his dad have got a local like plumbing firm here, gas firm, where they do plumbing and heating. They've been in the town for years and years, and I do a bit of work for them, and they're a great company. So it's AHS Heating Services in Swindon. Give them a shout out. They've been in the town for years, and they're a great company, and they're great to do work for. So yeah, I thought I'd give them a shout out. And I know Matthew watches the channel as well, so he'll be wanting to watch and see his car on here. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for the work. And yeah, they've helped me out in the past. They've done all the installation on my spray booth when I got my spray booth fitted, and yeah, done all the plumbing in for the gas on that. So yeah, that's AHS in Swindon. So yeah, if you're local and you need any heating services, check them out. They're great company. And yeah, this is Matthew's car. So it's him and his dad that own the company. This is his car. And yeah, that's it for this one. Yeah, thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and we'll see you again in the next one. Look after yourselves. Cheers.